Jessica Fox in Vett222 Task 20, Perform Urinalysis. I have my canine patient Bear here. We're going to take a trip outside and collect the urine. Alright, so this was a clean ladle, and I've collected the urine sample. I'm going to make sure it's at least 2 mLs. So I have this sterile urine tube here. Go ahead, pour it in, and that is perfect sample. Alright, so we're going to head inside and perform the urinalysis. So I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so now we're back inside. We just collected this sample on Bear. We're going to go ahead and perform the urinalysis. I'll share with you all the supplies I have here, which is the lab wipes, the distilled water, my refractometer, microscope cover slips, pipettes, the urine sediment stain. This is the reagent strips for the urinalysis, the centrifuge tube, and writing utensils. I have a microscope slide, and my goggles. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first step is to kind of perform a physical observation. So this urine is yellow in color, and if you hold it up to something, you can read through it. So I would say that the clarity is pretty clear. The volume, this is about 5 mLs, which is plenty to run this urinalysis. There's no foam and there's no odor. I did smell it earlier, and there's no strong, potent smell to it. So the next thing we will do is get a specific gravity using our refractometer. So we'll get a little bit of urine here in this pipette. And just place a drop of urine here on the glass. Go ahead and shut that. Point this up to a light. Bring it into focus. And it looks like his specific gravity is a little bit off the chart. It's looking like 1042. So we'll go ahead and record this here, and then transfer this over to the medical record after we're done with this. Alright, so the next thing is grabbing a reagent strip. And placing a drop of urine on each square here. Okay, just making sure the urine gets on each square. We're going to, in about 30 seconds, read the results compared to the key here and see how the urine reacted to each square. So in the meantime, we can take the refractometer on over to the sink and kind of just rinse it off with this distilled water. We will wipe it dry with a lab wipe. Okay, so that's taken care of. And we can move on to start reading the reagent strip. Alright, so we'll start with the glucose, which is negative. Bilirubin is negative. Ketones negative. The specific gravity we did with the refractometer. So blood is negative. pH is about 8, and protein looks like positive, so it would be 30 milligrams per deciliter, and then the leukocytes is also negative. So we'll record these results right here, and then we'll transfer them again. So pH is 8, and then protein is 30 milligrams per deciliter. Alright, so then the next step here is to centrifuge the urine so we can go ahead and look at it under the microscope. So we'll transfer all this to a centrifuge tube. Alright, so that is perfect. We'll go ahead and put this in the centrifuge. Balanced with the same tube and the same amount. So we'll go ahead and put these opposite of each other in the centrifuge here. And this is already set for the appropriate amount of RPMs. So we'll go ahead and start that and set the timer for 5 minutes. And when that's done spinning, we'll be back to complete the task. Alright, so now that the centrifuge is done, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our sample here. And it looks like there is a small white sediment here on the bottom edge of the tube. So next we're going to want to decant the sample just by pouring some of it out and keeping the sediment here at the bottom. So we're going to keep a very small sample, around 0.5, and that looks good. Alright, so we'll bring it back over here to our station. And using a clean pipette, I'm just going to kind of gently mix up the sediment here, and then place a drop on my microscope slide, and cover that with a slip. Alright, and then carefully using the urine sediment stain, without contaminating it, you're going to apply one drop in here. And again, kind of mix that up. And then place one drop next to the other drop. Okay. And then place a cover slip on that one. Perfect. So then we can move on to looking at it under the microscope, and from there we're going to be looking for things like cells, casts, crystals. So I'll have you come on over here with the microscope. Go ahead and turn that on. So when you do a urinalysis, you do want to look at the stained and unstained side. So I'll focus it under 10x here. And I'll bring that into focus. Alright, and then I'm going to move it to, I'm sorry, that was the 4x. We're going to go to the 10x. And under this, the 10x, you can scan for large casts and crystals. You wouldn't be able to see any white blood cells or red cells until we move on up. Okay, so we'll kind of scan this field. Then we'll move up to 40x to see if we can see anything under this power. Get this into focus. This is looking like a pretty clean urine. Just seeing a little bit of debris here, but nothing crazy. We'll go ahead and move to the stained side to see if we can see anything.